What's up, guys, and welcome to a brand new episode of NeoVintage News. Now, for you guys who have never watched this show before, basically I go over some of the biggest stories from the past week in gaming, give my quick thoughts on it, and then give you guys a game recommendation at the end of the show. So before we get started on all our major stories, I just wanted to give a little bit of self-promo. The first episodes of Players Unified is out right now on the channel, went up last week, and basically it's a series all dedicated to highlighting people of color in the industry. It's something I'm really passionate about. It's definitely the direction that I'm moving towards in terms of content creation on this channel, and so go check out that first episode. The content will get a lot better, the quality and production value will get a lot better as the series progresses, so don't get too hung up on that. I know it's a smaller, low-key, low-budget type of situation, but I do fully intend on kind of upscaling the production value as that series goes along. But yeah, go give that a check out. It's a really awesome time to support black creators on the platform, so definitely hop on that. So I guess we can get started on the first story. So let's go over some Kingdom Hearts stuff. So a brand new video was released titled Kingdom Hearts 2020, detailing all the new Kingdom Hearts related content that's on the way for 2020. It begins with a screen referring to an apparent second phase of Kingdom Hearts title, and I mean, how Kingdom Hearts is that to have like over 15 years worth of content and that be phase 1, and now they're moving on to a phase 2. That's absolutely nuts. But basically 3 games were shown, 2 have yet to be revealed. So the first that was shown off was Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, which is the DLC expansion for Kingdom Hearts 3 that came out earlier this year. I think it was a January drop. The next is Kingdom Hearts Union X Dark Road for mobile, and then that kind of details Xehanort's origin in some capacity. It's definitely in line with the other Kingdom Hearts mobile game, so it's in that art style, it's in that play style, but this does have some important lore in there, so if you're really into the Kingdom Hearts lore, then that's definitely something that you're going to want to look into. So the last is an upcoming rhythm game, Kingdom Hearts Memory of Melody. And Kingdom Hearts titles, you know how those go. There are also additional information regarding the Kingdom Hearts 3 official soundtrack and a content update for Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, which is the other mobile game. So Kingdom Hearts fans have a ton to look forward to, and not to mention all that is in conjunction with 2 games that we haven't yet seen. Again, we don't know what form those games are going to take. Kingdom Hearts experiments with a lot of different genres, a lot of different gameplay styles, so I wouldn't get hung up on the fact that it might not be a traditional Kingdom Hearts game. It could take any number of form, and also keep in mind all these little side entries in the Kingdom Hearts series, they tend to put important story beats in there, so don't look at it as some kind of like spin-off that you don't want to play. If Kingdom Hearts is really important to you, you kind of want to touch into all these, or at least look up the stories for all of them. So I guess we can jump into the next big story. Got another drop, but this time for Pokemon. So a brand new Pokemon event happened, and we have tons of exciting news. So the first is a brand new Pokemon Snap game that's coming to Switch. The original is an absolute classic N64 title, and finally we're getting a brand new one. Now, I got a lot of love for the original, not a ton of nostalgia because it's something that I experienced way after the fact, but I'm really excited to jump into this brand new title. It looks pretty awesome. It has brand new Pokemon, multiple generations since the original one came out. So I think this one's absolutely going to be a hit if Nintendo does it right. We got more news for a new raid event in Sword and Shield with a shiny Zeraora available if enough people beat it. It's some kind of like legendary Pokemon. Not super aware of who that is. Again, these are a little bit of the meta side of Pokemon games, so I don't really know too much about what that Pokemon is, and I've not done a lot of raids when I played. I kind of just played through the story, collected Pokemon as they came along, and kind of that was the extent of my experience with Sword and Shield. I didn't go deep into the multiplayer and the raid stuff, but for you guys who are really into that, you got more stuff coming. Mega Evolutions are coming to Pokemon Go along with Galarian Farfetch'd, so that's pretty dope if you're into Pokemon Go. A brand new mobile app centered around getting kids to brush their teeth is coming out, so there's obviously targeted towards kids and parents. A new puzzle game called Pokemon Cafe Mix came out, free to play. It's on both mobile and Switch, so I'm definitely gonna suggest you go check that out. It looks pretty dope. I haven't downloaded it just yet, but I really want to check it out. It has a real aesthetic, chill, lo-fi vibe to it, and puzzle games are awesome, so go check that out. And more Isle of Armor and Crown Tundra details were also released and detailed in this presentation, so lots of good news for Pokemon fans. The next one is a little bit disappointing, and it's that CD Projekt Red has unfortunately announced that Cyberpunk 2077 will be delayed from September 17th to 2 months later, which is November 19th. It's disappointed, but the thing is, no game I think was ever made worse by additional dev time. So I can appreciate the fact that they're trying to release like a completed, more polished project instead of just, rushing release. And thankfully to smart delivery on Xbox Series X and backwards compatibility on PS5, and they already said that they're going to have a pretty robust upgrade for next gen consoles. Your current gen console should work just fine on next gen consoles, so I wouldn't get too worried about that, because obviously it jumping into November puts it right into the time where next gen will be fresh out. But I'm going to link the full statement down below so you could read that statement that CD Projekt Red dropped. It's a good release, and it kind of gets you into their headspace of why they're doing what they're doing. Again, very disappointing. I was really banking on that being my September game. It was early September I had Tony Hawk. I was gonna move right into Cyberpunk, and then once October goes, you move on. But putting it into November puts it into a weird territory, because I don't know what the next gen launch titles are going to be, so we'll see how that plays out, and if that's advantageous or worse for them in terms of release schedule, we'll see. But ultimately this game is going to be an absolute juggernaut, so kind of whenever it comes out, it's going to dominate anyways. The next is the EA Play event. So Electronic Arts held its big EA Play 2020 event today as of writing this, showing off some upcoming games and announcing a few big ones. So I'm going to basically run down the different announcements that they had, quick thoughts on them, whether I care or not, and then I'll give you guys kind of a bigger top level review of the event itself. So the first one they started out was Apex Legends on Switch. It's good for certain contingent of people. Sims 4 on Steam, wasn't aware it wasn't on that. It Takes Two. So this is the Joseph Fares game, and he was the guy who created A Way Out, and he was at, I believe, the Game Awards, and he did that wild thing with Jeff Keighley that he was just acting up. I don't know if he was drunk or what, but yeah, brand new game from him. Lost in Random. This is part of the EA Originals brand, and it's kind of like a Tim Burton-esque indie type game. I'm really digging what I'm seeing so far, but I want to see a little bit more gameplay before I know it's my type of game or not. You got Rocket Arena. It's a 3v3 game that looks similar to Overwatch. A lot of games, trying to tackle this multiplayer arena-based combat type situation that is really, really popular nowadays. And we'll see which ones succeed, which ones don't. It's hard to predict with these things. A lot of the time comes down to how much money the company or the publisher is willing to pump into it to allow it to succeed. That's what, ultimately I felt like, besides an awesome game on the back end, that's what allowed for games like Fortnite to really succeed and Overwatch and stuff like that, as they had kind of massive conglomerates around them to really finance and have fresh new content rolling out at all times and a real, high quality experience. But we'll see if EA is willing to put in that work to make sure this succeeds. We got new Star Wars Squadrons footage, and it looks absolutely phenomenal. I'm typically not the guy who gravitates more towards the space combat type games, but I'm really like when I'm seeing it. You get that kind of cockpit view. Everything looks seamless and fast and kinetic gameplay, high quality experience. So we'll see how it is so far. I mean, I'm really over this EA Star Wars deal, to be honest. I would love to see other developers be able to tackle Star Wars, but I'm willing to give it a shot. It looks pretty good, and hopefully they don't litter it with dumb multiplayer, all weird type of past microtransaction nonsense. Hopefully they don't litter it too much with that, and this one definitely goes more in the Fallen Order direction, but we'll see. I'll keep an open mind. We got next-gen Madden and FIFA stuff for you guys who are into that. We got a next-gen montage showing a racing game, a fantasy game, what we think is Battlefield, and a new motive game. Other games could be future games from possibly like BioWare and Criterion, I'm assuming. And then lastly, the conference kind of ended off with Skate confirmed to be back. So I would say overall, the event was okay. I think the biggest problem I have with it is not so much the content, but definitely the length of time. It was way too long for the pace at which they were going and the amount of content they had. There was some decent stuff in there that I'm excited for, but the way that they laid it out, it made everything feel super anticlimactic because of how long the conference was. Way too long. This easily could have been cut down to a 25 to 30 minute conference and a similar to like a State of Play, and I felt like the reception would have been a lot better for it. The next one is a brand new Crash Bandicoot game is seemingly on the way for PS4 and Xbox One, thanks to leaks of cover art and something from the game's rating board. So apparently it's going to be developed for Toys for Bob, according to the cover, which is in charge of the Spyro Reignited trilogy, instead of Vicarious Visions, who seem to be currently working on that Tony Hawk remake. Still unconfirmed, but I would say this is a lot of information to be a complete fabrication. So I would say, as of right now, treat it like a rumor. But right now, other than a formal announcement, we have pretty much everything to guarantee that it seems to be happening. This would be Crash 4. It's About Time, I believe, is the title that they're going for. And so I'm really, really excited about it. That Crash remastered trilogy was absolutely phenomenal. So I have nothing but faith for them to deliver a brand new experience. But we'll see if it, goes more in line with the PS1 games, if they're going to really up the ante and try to increase the production value and create like a more next-gen experience. I don't know yet necessarily, but the ball's in Activision's hands. We'll see what they're able to do with it. So I guess we can end off the show today with my weekly game recommendation. Now, typically I try to isolate this for smaller, low-key sleeper hits that you guys might not know about going forward. But this week, I would be remiss not to highlight one of the best games out right now, which is The Last of Us 2. I'm absolutely loving this game. I'm only about 5.5 hours in, so take what I say with a grain of salt. And obviously, a full-scale review on my end will be coming out the moment I finish the game. So expect that in maybe a week to 2 weeks at most, because I'm playing through it pretty fast. But I gotta say, man, this game is absolutely phenomenal. It's one of the most gorgeous games that I've seen on a current gen console. It runs seamlessly. The action is so fast and kinetic and dynamic. The stealth is really, really solid for somebody that I don't really like stealth titles. So I gotta give them credit on that front. The AI, I can tell it's been completely overhauled. It's intuitive. It's reactionary, especially once you bring in the dogs and stuff like that. The story, I'm really, really liking. It holds a lot of weight. It's obviously, really grating on the art, just like the original one was. But I don't ever get the vibe that they're kind of just heavy for heavy's sake. And I would say if you are having hesitations about this game, judging by a lot of like the review bombing that's going on, I would say experience it for yourself, man. Don't worry about that too much. Those are people who are obviously angry about a certain component of the game that I think once you play the game, experience things in context, form your own opinion, your experience with the game is gonna be leaps and bounds above you reading synopsises online from leaks and stuff like that. So I would highly suggest go check out the game, especially if you love the first one. I think you're gonna really love this one. I think everything that I loved about the first one is definitely into this one. Again, I'll get deeper into my specific feelings about specific choices and UI and stuff like that in the full review, but go check this game out. It's absolutely phenomenal. They knocked it out of the park with this one, and I think it was well worth the wait. So that was this episode of NeoVintage News. I'll see you guys next week with a brand new crop of brand new stories of what's going on in the games industry. So till next time, this is Jabril from NeoVintage Games. Bye.